Hi everyone. So in our last presentation session, we started with IPC. So I briefly explained what do you mean by IPC, how two processes are going to communicate with each other, what are all the different forms of IPC which are available, how two processes are going to communicate with each other, which are on the same host. For that, what are all the kinds of IPC you can use. So if the processes are on different hosts, then we can use socket and streams. Then we saw what actually do you mean by pipe, how you can create a pipe. So what are all the limitations of a pipe? How file descriptor can be used for writing the contents to the pipe and also for reading the contents from the pipe. So lastly, we ended pipe with a small program in order to create a pipe, in order to create a child process and to write the content to the pipe from parent and to read the content from pipe to the child. So in this presentation session, we shall try to understand two small topics, that is P open, P close and co-processes. So what actually do you mean by P open and P close? So I will give a brief overview with respect to P open and P close. So far, so all this work, so for two processes to communicate with each other, first we need to create a pipe, then we need to create a child process, then we need to open the writing end for one process and open the reading end for another process. So all this has to be done manually. So that means we have to write code line by line or separately for all these things to happen. So instead of that, we can make use of popen and pclose function, which are going to perform all these functions by their own. So using popen and pclose, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ process ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ popen pclose complete ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. So as you can see, it is a common operation to create a pipe to another process. So it can be used to either read its input or send it input. It can read the input from another process or you can send the input from this process to other process. So to read its input or send it input, the standard input or output library has provided two functions. They are called as popen and pclose. So they are basically used to create a pipe to read the input or to send the input. So read the output as to send it input. These two function all the dirty work that we have been doing ourselves. That means we were creating a pipe, we were forking a child, we were closing the unused ends of the pipe. For example, if you are writing something, then you need to close the reading end. Sorry, if you are writing something, then the reading end of parent should be closed. Similarly, if the child is reading something, then the writing end of child should be closed. So this all things can be done by your popen and pclose function. So for creating a pipe, forking a child, closing the unused ends of the pipe, executing a shell to run the command. So you need to run the command for creating a pipe and waiting for the command to terminate. All these things was done manually. In order to avoid this manual working of creating a pipe, we can make use of this popen function. This is the prototype for using your popen function. This is the header file, standard input output.h you need to include. So in popen, you are passing two parameters. First one is CMD string and second one is type. So what the CMD string contains? So it contains the information which is needed to perform fork and exec. So what will fork do? Fork will create a child process. Then exec, it will execute the command string. So type represents whether you are using it for reading or you are using it for writing. So it will return a file pointer. It will return a file pointer. If it is successful, it will return null on error. So you can close this particular pipe which was established using the pclose function. So it will return the termination status if it is successfully get closed. Otherwise, it will return 1 on error. So we shall try to understand these two functions through these diagrams. Then you will get a clearer picture. The function popen does a fork and exec to execute the CMD string. So what are all the things you have mentioned in your CMD string? So your popen, first it will fork, that means it will create a child process, then it will exec the CMD string. So in exec, it will do the opening and closing of file descriptor. Which file descriptor need to be open for parent, which is to be closed for parent. Similarly, which file descriptor is to be open for child, which file descriptor is to be closed, that will be mentioned here. then it returns a standard input or output file pointer. A file pointer will be returned. If type is R, if your type is R, the file pointer is connected to the standard output. As you can see here, if you are using popen for type R, that means you are reading the contents from your child. So at that point, the read end of parent will be open, the write end will be closed. Whereas for the child, the write end will be open, the read end will be closed. So this is how you can read the content from the child to the parent. Your child will be writing the content, your parent will be reading the content from the child. So you are passing popen by passing the command string, and the type you are passing is R. If you are passing it as W, if the type is W, the file pointer is connected to the standard input of CMD string. This is the file pointer you will be getting. You will be getting a file pointer here. So this file pointer will be connected to the standard input. That means in this case, you will be writing the contents to the child. The parent will write the contents to the standard input. The child will read the contents from this standard input. So if you want to close this particular pipe which was established, then you can make use of pclose by passing the corresponding file pointer. Then the pipe which was established will be closed or terminated. This is how you can make use of popen and pclose function. So in order to establish a pipe and to send or write or read the data. This was done manually in our pipe concept. But in this particular concept, we can make use of popen and pclose in order to automate this particular process. Okay. If it is R, then the parent will read the contents from standard output. If it is W, then the parent will write the contents to standard input. Then your child in turn will read the contents from standard input. So we have covered IPC, the 9 different forms of IPC. Then we covered what is pipe. So how off duplex pipe will work, and between two processes, how we can establish a pipe, which are all the two file descriptor, a small program on how to create a pipe and how to write and read the data. Then later on we saw popen and pclose. So in this presentation session, we shall try to cover one more topic, which is called as coprocesses. So before understanding coprocess, you need to understand a topic called as filter. So what is a filter? A unique system filter is a program that reads from standard input and writes to standard input. Filter is a program which is reading from standard input, is reading some content from the standard input and writing the contents to the standard output. That can be called as a filter. So filters are normally connected linearly in shell pipeline. That means if I'm using two commands, there is a pipeline. Imagine there is a pipeline. The input of this particular command will be given as output to this particular command. So it is reading from the standard input and it is writing to the standard output. That is called as a filter. So you can use a pipeline to connect these two particular commands. A filter becomes a coprocess. When your filter will become a coprocess, when the same program generates the filter output and it also reads the filter output. So if the same process generates filter input and if the same process is reading the filter output, then that particular filter will become a coprocess. So your coprocess will normally run in the background. So it won't be visible for you people in the foreground. So its standard output and standard input are connected to another program using a pipe. So you'll be using another program. So that will be connected with the help of a pipe. So you'll understand better what is a coprocess using this particular diagram. As you can see, the process creates two pipes. So one is for standard input of the coprocess. So as you can see, this particular parent process is reading the contents from this child process, Similarly, this parent process using one more pipe in order to this particular parent process is using this pipe in order to write the content to the child process. The same parent process is using one more pipe in order to read the content from the child process. So in this particular case, your parent can be called as a co-process. Why? Because your co-process, a filter becomes a co-process when the same program generates the filter input. It is writing the content, it is generating the filter input, and also it is reading the filter output. In this case, your parent will become a co-process, because it is writing the content and also it is reading the content from your standard output. So this parent will act as a co-process. So let us try to write a sample filter in order to add two numbers. So let us try to understand how we can write a sample filter which can add two numbers. I hope you got this particular concept called as co-process. So what actually is a co-process? If there is a process which is using two pipes, one pipe is used for writing the contents to standard input and another pipe is used for reading the contents from your standard output. So if this process is doing these two activities using two different pipe, then this process can be called as co-process. It is a filter, but it is the same process which is performing two this different operation. It will be called as a co-process. So this is the filter we can use in order to add two numbers. So advanced programming Unix environment header file. Then I am using two integer values. This is int1 and int2. This is variable name and this is the data type. So all these three variables are of integer data type. This holds one value, this holds one value, this holds the number of values, that is two values. Then I'm using the maximum standard input lines you can get. So this should come in this particular line only. Then I'm reading the contents from my standard input file. So line by line, so I will be reading the contents from my standard input line, provided it will be equal to max line. It will be 2. So it will read two lines. So 1 and 2. So your n value will be equal to 0, 0. Sorry, n value will be equal to 2. It will read those two lines. So n is 2. So n of line of 0 and line of 1 will be equal to, it will be initialized to 0. Sorry, line of 2 will be initialized to 0. So then I will perform scanf operation. That will, I will read those particular integer values. So first integer value will be in int1, second integer will be in int2. So those values will be read. If it is equal to 2, that means if you have given only two values, because if you are adding only two numbers, if it is equal to 2, then you are going to perform the addition. As you can see, I am printing by performing the addition of int1 plus int2. So that is printed on a particular line using this format specifier. Then I will be finding the length of this particular line, that should be equal to 2. That should be equal to 2. So here I have read already 2. So then I will check the standard output file. If my standard output file is also giving me 2, this should get matched. That means 2 should be equal to 2. So if it is giving different number, then there is a problem. I have not correctly calculated the addition and I have printed. Then it will give write error. So during scanf itself, if there is some problem, then it will say invalid arguments. I have not given two arguments. I have given more than two arguments. Then it will show it is invalid argument. So, or I can say if this particular, this is with respect to this particular if condition. So if it is false, that means if the number of lines in your standard output file is not equal to 2, then that means there is some problem in the standard output file. Then it will say invalid arguments. It should be 2 because only two values it should be it should have written, but it is giving two different. Sorry, it should have given only one value. Why one value? Because the addition of two numbers will give me one value. So n will contain 1. So it should be 1. If it is more than 1, if it is standard output is having value more than 1, then it is write error. So not you have not correctly printed the result on your standard output file. So what actually is a co-process? A co-process is nothing but which will use two different pipes. One is used for reading the content, writing the contents. Another one is used for reading the contents. So in such a case, your parent will become co-process. This is a sample filter to add two numbers. So initially we will be reading those two numbers. So that's why you are checking whether it is equal to 2. Then you will print the addition of those two numbers onto standard output. Then you will check the string length of that particular line. If it will be 1, so you will confirm that with the standard output. So if it is equal to 1, then it will it won't write write error. If it is not equal to 1, it will show write error. And also if there are some invalid arguments present in your standard output file, it will be printing write error. So in this particular presentation session, we covered p open and p close. That is, instead of doing the creating pipe process and creating a child process manually, we have automated that particular process to create a pipe and to establish the connection. Lastly, we saw what is a co-process, how we can write a sample filter to add two numbers. So hope you have got some understanding with respect to popen, pclose and co-processes. So in our next presentation session, we shall try to understand one more form of IPC. So these are all different forms of IPC which are used for inter-process communication between two processes. So next we shall try to understand FIFO, first in, first out IPC, that we are going to see in our next presentation session. Thank you.